guys, Craig from Bass Lessons in Melbourne here. Very lucky to be joined today by Mr. Tim Lefebvre. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule.
You got it.
To come and hang, man. Appreciate it. So you're here with Tedeschi Trucks.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
How would you say that gig compares to other stuff that you've done in the past?
I kind of, it required me to pay attention more to how, basically when I first started coming out, I was first playing basically, my first real gig in New York was with Laney Stern and Wayne Krantz, and I learned a lot from both of them. But the thing about Wayne's gig was using stuff from like playing 70s Jamerson-y kind of stuff didn't work on that gig to me and didn't sound right to him or me. So I always avoided it. So, until I joined this band, so I had kind of zero or very thin knowledge of how to play from that style, the 70s style, because it wasn't something I was hearing. Now I'm hearing it and it's fun and it's cool, but I didn't know how to do it before. So that was kind of the learning curve for me. To play legit, R&B stuff. It's like classic R&B like Willie Weeks and Jerry Jamot.
So you had dug into the archives?
Yeah, I mean not too hard, but enough to make it sound real,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of it requires just playing a lot. It's a lot of playing.
Yeah.
Playing.
Did you guys have a big rehearsal schedule?
We rehearse a bit, which is good. It's helpful. Derek's great at knowing when to he's like a good puppeteer. There's a lot of people to manage, so he's good at knowing when to pull the strings and making things happen with the band. Just by adding a tune or two, changes the whole kind of direction and kind of improvisatory direction of the band. So it's super cool. Yeah, it's super fun.
Nice one. And obviously you were just on the most recent Bowie album. What were a couple of the things that you took away from that maybe surprised you, or you kind of go, that's something that I can take forward and use?
Just the main thing is how brave a guy he was, and how he's just fuck it, I'm just doing this record, I don't care. I think he was like that about all his records, but this one especially is just this is what this is, and here you go. And so that's inspired me to just be more brave about stuff I want to do, anything I'm producing or playing on. It's I'm sort of at the point where it's just especially anything I produce, it's I've stopped being self-conscious about it. It's as long as I'm doing it well and right, especially when I'm producing stuff, I'm gonna just do it because I don't care if it fits into any genre. He didn't care. Yeah. And also I also can't. I have a shorter leash for people who are dicks. So it's he's also one of the best guys. Just knowing him very briefly, he's an awesome guy. No pretension, no nothing. So anybody who's pretentious now, I don't have time for.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Good stuff. How would you describe your playing style, and why do you think people book you instead of somebody else?
I don't know, and I don't know.
Okay.
To answer both questions. I got a stick in my throat. I don't know. I just kind of do. Initially it all kind of came out of Daryl Jones and Marcus Miller and Victor Bailey. And then I was pretty influenced by those guys in the 80s and 90s. So I kind of via osmosis, I've gone back to check out who Daryl Jones was checking out, which I have a feeling was a lot of Willie Weeks, and Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller, I haven't been listening to lately, but back in the day with Miles Davis and stuff, all those guys, the guys who went through the Miles Davis, Weather Report, Sting, blah blah blah. All those gigs were kind of rotating on that circle of gigs, so they were pretty influential on me. So, yeah, so that was kind of where I was coming from for a while. Now it's just whatever it is, it is. Now I'm influenced by Pino Palladino and Rusty Allen and Larry Graham, a bunch of different people, and it just sort of just comes out however it comes out.
Electronic music.
Yeah, electronic music. Yeah, I forgot about that. But not really so much of the new stuff. I mean, some of it I like. I'm really into Knower. It was a friend of mine, Lewis Cole and Genevieve Artadi. So that what's funny is they, Lewis would claim that I'm influential on him, which is hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is funny. So it's kind of a nice trade-off.
Sweet.
So.
And obviously, you like to use a couple of pedals, as we've already seen today. What's been were you always a pedal guy, or was it when you got
I was always using the octave pedal, but it was it wasn't supposed to be, I got, the idea I got it from was, some of it was initially Pino Palladino, but most of it was Daryl Jones. When he,
okay.
There was a Sting video called Bring on the Night, where you could hear him put on the pedal on certain, I think it was called Consider Me Gone or something like that, and it's he's not playing much in the track, but he put it on at one point when it really made the track take off.
Yeah.
So I was sort of getting into that kind of thing. So I started using it with Wayne Krantz, and that's what it's that's what it all started with, and then I just kind of once I got into drum and bass, I started adding other stuff. And
I think my first exposure to an octave pedal was Juan Nelson with Ben Harper.
Oh yeah, could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
that's when I first heard it, and I went and I bought an octave bass.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice.
So you mentioned Wayne Krantz. How do you approach that kind of improvisation, like the rhythmic improvisation in that kind of setting?
It just took some like a little bit. It took some getting used to, like conceptually. Like that's what I'm sort of self-taught, but if I had to consider anybody a teacher, it'd be Wayne, because it's just like his whole concept was different, and also like we had been doing stuff before Keith Carlock got in the band, but then once Keith got in the band, it kind of took on its own kind of chemistry thing, and it just like so basically it was just, improvising for a long time, and mostly 8-bar phrases.
Right.
Unless otherwise noted, and it just sort of like kind of always was evolving, like kind of like the Bill Evans Trio, kind of wasn't really coming out of that, but it was kind of conceptually similar.
Okay.
We're just going and going, usually just one key, so like it's just kind of, so just a lot of it just came to just doing it over and over. We rehearsed, and then we had 2 nights a week at the 55 bar, so it was a lot of doing that. So like a lot of my sound came from just doing that gig, because we just played a lot together. Like Keith, Wayne, and I. That's kind of like that was the band back then. Like 4 or 5 years of that a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Any plans for a Tim Lefebvre band?
No.
Really?
Nah.
No. Do you write much, or?
I am writing, but I'm collaborating with a bunch of other people. Right. Like I'm working with this artist Emily Zuzik right now. So that record's almost done. I've been producing that. I've been writing with Gary Novak and this MC named Kokai, who used to rap with Steve Coleman, and he's a guy from Washington, D.C. And basically it's just bass, drums, and him.
Okay, cool.
It was kind of avant rap kind of shit. And I've been writing with Empire of the Sun, which is apparently a famous...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm always kind of writing, I'm trying to.
Yeah,
but I don't feel any strong need to do a solo bass record or, have a band or anything like that. I mean... so I got plenty enough other stuff going on. This is like, nobody's clamoring for me to have a solo record, so it's okay.
No worries. I know you're living in LA, is that right? Mm-hmm. How long have you been in there for?
5 years.
5 years. Yeah. How do you find the switch between New York and LA?
It's much more pleasant to live in LA than New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the urban jungle kind of just got on my nerves after a while. I thought, it's really hard to get around. I mean, it's kind of hard to get around in LA too, but it's harder to get around in New York. It's more miserable and crowded and stuff. Beautiful city, and people there are amazing, no doubt. But this was time for me to go.
And did you find you got more film work?
No, I mean that was the initial plan was to get that going on now. But what's funny? Like I got more busy in New York. Like all this other stuff. Sometimes it's just a matter of shaking the tree a little bit. I didn't do anything differently, but all of a sudden I started getting really, really busy. It was crazy. Like. Some of it came from being in LA. Some of it, I just started meeting more people, and then sort of, the circles got smaller and smaller, and then, just all this crazy stuff started happening. Yeah. But, like Bowie record happened because of my New York affiliations, and Tedeschi Trucks was a combination of stuff. But it's all, who knows, it's just, It's good. If I could live in both places, I would, but,
For sure. And you're rocking the Moulin P.
Yep.
How do you find this compared to like a classic Fender or what we know?
It's funny. When I have flat ones on this, it compares very favorably to it. Although this one's a little more turbofied. It's like a little more, the pickups are a little darker and woollier than the ones he's making now, which are very vintage, like 59P. I think he's modeling them after him. So the newer Ps are sounding very vintage. And whereas this one's not quite as vintage sounding, but it feels it's just the greatest bass I've ever played, honestly. And but it still sounds, I've done a bunch of recordings with it. It sounds very P-like, I just, but it just feels incredible, and like the way it plays in the right hand is incredible.
Just fits.
Yeah, so seriously, my favorite bass ever. Yeah, so it's I've been using it a lot. Yeah. And plus, it barks the effects nice. It's like it hits. Okay. Yeah, like that's for sure. Like older. Real vintage Fender Ps don't hit the effects as good as this does.
Yeah, that's true.
Because also I have Ramons on it, so it has more little tonal stuff.
Is this what you're using with Tedeschi Trucks?
Yeah, I'm using this. This is like the secondary bass in Tedeschi Trucks. Like I switch it over when it's a little more rock vibe.
Okay.
Most of the time I'm using a 63P. And last year I was using a 68P, which is what I did Blackstar on, and Tedeschi Trucks Let Me Get By record. So, but it's I found it was like really hard to play with my right hand, so I just brought it home to LA and I got a new 63P, old 63P. Yeah, which is actually even better sounding than the 68, so it's cool. Yeah. So most of the time I use that. Yeah, it's totally win. And the thing is like, you know, because it's a lot of playing and it's like it's a long show and it's pretty physical, so like if the right hand isn't working for you, it's brutal. No, it's just it's a give thing. Like there was just no. I've had that problem before with like a 5-string I had. It was just like totally dead in the right hand. So like no matter how hard you hit it or light you hit it, it's kind of the same. Yeah. So, you know, that's fine. There's really nothing you can't fix it or anything. It's just is what it is.
Yeah, wood combination thing.
Yeah, it's a tension. It's just weird stuff. Like whereas this, you know, this has all kinds of give, and the new one has give. It's like it's a nice bounce to how the string goes. So.
Yeah, cool. You mentioned Noor.
Nowhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're doing a gig May 2nd in LA. Yeah. A live gig. He hasn't done a live gig in a while. Usually they just do duo gigs with Lewis and Genevieve, but it's going to throw putting the band back together, man.
Is there any other kind of current bands that you've been checking out?
I'm really into this band from the UK called Fink. Like I'm kind of obsessed, actually. Okay. It's kind of acoustic guitar, but it's kind of vibey, and the guy's voice is incredible. All right. I just got the new Massive Attack record, really good. What else did I just get? I'm going to go on tour very briefly with Bryan Adams in April. So I'm going to be checking that out. Although it's not like I have to check. I mean, these guys got so many #1 hits. It's like, yeah, maybe more or less. Yeah. And he's just such a cool guy, and he chased me down, you know. And then he made it impossible to say no. He's a super good guy. Sounds like it's going to be fun. So
that will be fun.
Yeah.
And what else is happening in 2016?
That's it. There's going to be doing a new record with Donnie McCaslin Quartet. That's the band that did Blackstar. Yeah. So it's like Mark Juliana, Jason Linder, and Donnie. Produced by Dave Binney.
Casting for
Gravity and Fast Future. So we're doing another one in April. That's going to happen. What else? I'm going to produce a couple more projects. Yeah. Probably this artist, Rachel Eckroth, who's a keyboard player with keyboard and singer with KT Tunstall's band.
Oh, okay. A good Scottish singer.
Yeah. She's Scottish? I didn't know that. Yeah, Small World. Yeah, she's great. It's fun. I'm a fan of hers. So it's going to be cool.
What's the Donnie process like? Is it charts and dots?
Yeah, it's charts. It's definitely charty. But then it's like, you know, the band is like the strong part of that band is its ability to improvise together. So like it ends up getting kind of way off the page. Yeah. Which is cool.
And that's the point of it, I guess.
It can be. I mean, sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's not the point, but sometimes, you know, like we're at our best when that is the point. That's for sure. You know. Yeah, it's been an interesting year for that group of individuals, you know, because we all played on Blackstar, and it's just been nuts. It's crazy, you know. Yeah, it's just it's kind of life changing, you know. It's like it wasn't supposed to be, and I didn't think of, you know, when we were recording the record, it was like, you know, like Bowie was so cool, and like, you know, and so we just wanted to do a good record for the guy, you know. And then when it started coming out, I was like, holy shit, we're on a Bowie record. It's like, and it turned out to be the last one, more or less, and it's just like it's bananas. So everybody's got a little more visible.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anyone deserves it, you guys certainly deserve it. So
thanks. I mean, you know, it could have been anybody, but I'm glad it was us.
Yeah,
it was fun.
No, Tim, that's been great.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks, Greg.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.
See you next time.